everybody, happy Thursday. Now today's video is on a topic that we haven't discussed in years, and that topic is hypersexuality as a result of childhood sexual abuse or sexual assault. And the question that I got was, hey Katie, I was raped as a child, and as a consequence, I'm hypersexual. You've discussed how painful and hard it can be to have a healthy sex life after being sexually abused, but you haven't talked about how else one might react, such as being overly sexual. It would be interesting to see what you think about it. I feel we're a minority and it's not talked about much. I may be wrong, but since it's not something widely discussed, I wouldn't know. It's something I struggle with daily and has gotten me in many dangerous situations, so I'm curious to know. And the first thing that I want to say is that the truth about childhood sexual abuse or sexual assault at any age, the most common response is actually to be hypersexual. And so I just want to put that out there that you are not in the minority, you're actually in the majority. So know that you're not alone. And I know a lot of you out there watching this video who haven't gone through this are thinking, isn't that like the opposite? Isn't that counterintuitive? Why would someone who was harmed sexually as a child or at some point in their life then turn around and be hypersexual? Why would they do that? Why would they hurt themselves with the very thing that hurt them in the beginning? And there are many reasons that we do it. The first is that it's a way to regain control, to take it back. Many of my clients have told me that they will be hypersexual. They'll put themselves in dangerous sexual situations because it's their way of saying, it's my body, I decide, I do what I want. And it's almost like they get to reverse the role. Instead of feeling like someone has control over them and can do whatever they want to them, and even them saying no isn't stopping it, they get to choose and they get to have as much sex as they want. The second reason many people become hypersexualized is validation. Imagine if we were sexually abused as children. We were raised in that environment. Through that time in our formative years, we were shown that maybe the only way we got one-on-one attention was with sex. Maybe the only time we were really told that we were loved was through sex. Maybe that's how we knew we were worthwhile and we were important and all of those things. Maybe that was something we were told while we were being sexually abused. So you can see how if that's what's happening in our formative years, even into our teens, we will associate love, support, validation with sex. Therefore, in order to get what we all need, right? We all need love, validation, and support. We will then turn to sex to fill that need. The third reason that I know of in my experience is chemical dependency. And that sounds like we're talking about addiction, and we kind of are. Sex can release those feel-good hormones. You know how I've talked about different chemicals in our brain like dopamine and norepinephrine and all those things that swirl around and make us feel really good? Sex releases those. Therefore, if we've been hypersexualized, we're already maybe used to being abused and being sexualized for many nights, maybe every night growing up. When we get older, we still seek out that same feeling. And that's why when you talk about treatment for this, the next stage then is like dual treatment. We need to treat potentially the addiction and that like yearning for that feel good, that dopamine, that serotonin, that norepinephrine that gets released. We may seek that out. So we need to deal with the addiction, the sex addiction. And secondly, we have to heal from our trauma.